Welcome everyone to this second day of workshop, EPOS workshop about seismic hazard. Today, at least this session will be in English because we have a special guest here, Laurenzio Dancio from ETH Switzerland. Laurenzio Dancio is a good friend of me, but is also a very tough scientist, I have to say. I never told him, but it's true actually. Is the guy actually that was behind many of those products that you are familiar with, like for example the share project. All the calculation have been basically managed by him, Emme, but many other projects. I think he is the guy that is also behind OpenQuake in practice. So he's the OpenQuake magician, I usually call him. And today he is going to give us a very quick overview about EFHER, the European Facilities for Earthquake Hazard and Risk. EFHER is basically one of the three pillars related to the thematic core services of EPOS, together with Orpheus and EMSC. But of course, I'm not going to say things that you are going to explain, Laurenzio. So I give you the actually the word, and you can start now.
Okay, grazie mille Valerio. Buongiorno a tutti. And that's my Italian stops where I stop with that. So thank you. It's a great honor, and really I'm really happy to be here to give you a brief overview of what EFHER is. EFHER, we look now into EFHER as a consortium, EFHER as a place where the community on the hazard and risk, right, working on these two important topics, ideally can collaborate and participate to the development of this of the models, at least at the European level. And overall, also we will be looking at the services, at the data products, but also the vision and the next steps for the consortium overall and for the community. Now we are looking at we'll be looking at a couple of slides, which I'll try to share right now. And in this presentation, I will really have a few slides on the consortium. Then I'll go through some services that are available right now. And as I said, I will.
Wait a second, Laurenzio, because the image is stuck. So
okay.
try again.
Do you have two displays?
Yes.
You share the wrong one. Go to
Okay.
Screen, Sharing, and select the window.
Hello.
See it?
Good morning.
Yep. Ciao, Stefano.
Is it
Ciao.
this one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
perfect.
Okay, great. Okay,
Go to full
great.
screen.
So I will jump into the main presentation now. So where EFHER stands in this landscape of EPOS services or thematic core services. Of course, it belongs to seismology, and together with the Orpheus and EMSC, they are the three so-called pillars for organizing the federated services to serve the community on the topics of hazard and risk. From the governance point of view, we have three representatives on the overall EPOS seismology, and these three members are representing the chair, the risk community, and the hazard community within the governance of EPOS seismology. Short overview of the consortium. Well, the consortium is I would say the endpoint of a series of many European projects within starting with NERIS and SIRIUS and NERA and STERA, SAFER, and all that you see it listed here. In any, at least on the early projects, they were all aimed at creating a consortium that maintain a specific product on the hazard, on the risk, through the years. Well, none of those consortium in time, they have survived the project. So when the project has been finished, the consortium will disappear. And that was a delicate point, because the legacy of the data sets or of the services of everything that has been developed and built at the European scale within those projects, there will be static web pages, and that's it. And that is not in line with what we are, at least in the last 15 years, aiming at creating so-called living models, that they are, you don't start from zero all the time, but you always have a basis for update and maintain and further progress with the models. So that's where the EFHER consortium comes in place. It was established in October 2019, not in 2020, by 12 members. And when I say members, here are institutions. And through the last year, we have achieved by now 21 members, but there are still others in the process of becoming members. So the way one institution can join EFHER is by contacting the EFHER secretary, which is in this case is myself, or any other members of the ExeCom, or simply write a contact, an email to from the web page, and then there is a consortium agreement that has to be signed, and this then during the general assembly, which happens yearly, we are voting for the new members. So in principle, EFHER consortium, it's open for everyone to join, for any institutions, for even for individual scientists, but ideally it should come through an institution. There is no constraints, and if you look on this map, what you see, there are some institutions, but also one special case is France, where at the national level they have RECIF, which is the association for earthquake engineering and seismology overall in France, and all the institutions in France, they decide that they contribute to the EFHER consortium through RECIF. In Italy, there is INGV that is in the process to finalize the membership. So that's what will probably in the next generation during this year we will be updating that. Then we also plan, and we have had one scientific webinar during the General Assembly, where we have presented the status of the European hazard and risk models. And we are planning yearly to have such events with different topics, of course, and different contributions. So what is the today governance of the EFHER consortium? We have a chair, we have an ExeCom, and you see it listed there. The chair of the consortium is Fabrice Coton at GFZ. You probably know him very well. There is the executive committee that it's acting like management of the consortium. We have Ellen Crowley, that she is the representative of the risk community. Antonio Correa at LENEC, Portugal, that he is also the risk representative of the risk community, but also the engineering. In this case, it's the EC8 committee. We have Olka Kneditu and Celine Bouval and Paivi Mantiemi, also part of the ExeCom, and myself acting as a consortium secretary. So what are the core activities that we envision here? So basically, it is to provide access to all the models that we are building, whether they're hazard or risk. We would like to have to provide full access to all the components, from earthquake catalogs to exposure or vulnerability, to the calculations, to the input files for calculations, and also to facilitate the information to develop specific components of these models, not only in this particular project or in a particular project, but also in a different opportunity scientifically, such as working groups or ad hoc commissions that or expert panels that they have to be established. I'll have a few more words on that later on. Another important activity here is that we need to maintain and review these models at the European scale. And as I said, it's a very long process, and maintaining and keeping the know-how of this model is essential for the evolution of these models. We will plan to have training sessions. We are planning to introduce to collaborate with or to try to bring new generation to contribute to these models. We would like to have sessions, webinars. We like to distribute all the tools. So overall, this open science and open access to everything. One important aspect that has to be mentioned here is that these European models, they are not replacing the national models. Everything that is here, at least on the hazard domain, it aims as a regional harmonization and cross-border harmonization, and it is the not replacement. And this is not always clear for a lot of experts that are acting at the national level. They will always feel that these European levels are replacing the effort at the national level. No, they are a reference, and they can be consulted, and they can be in different way, higher, lower, or a lot of people are comparing direct results, and that's not only the idea behind these models. We are also coordinating with EC8 for the development of the annexes of the Euro codes, and in this way we are supporting with all relevant information that the working group they have in creating the engineering products. They are based on the most updated information that we have. So this is the case right now, and this will continue for different topics or needs for their design purposes, regulations, and specifications. We do have open and fully transparent data policy on the EFHER. We are trying to respect the intellectual property and clarify and maintain the scientific ownership of the main data sets. We would like to have to apply the FAIR principles pretty much the same way the EPOS Consortium promotes overall in his architecture for the services. And we are using a Creative Commons share-alike 4.0 CC BY version, which is very similar to what EPOS does. Okay, what are the services that currently are working or under the EFHER umbrella? They are 6. They are federated services. They are hosted by different institutions. So I will go quickly through these 6 services, and I will say a few words about them. This is, I hope you all know this platform, which is the hazard platform. It's hosted at ETH, and this is where we provide access to the hazard map, hazard curves, hazard spectra of the previous generation of the models, but also of the future. We provide full access to the documentation. We provide full access to all the relevant inputs for the main components and the inputs for calculations, and to the right references and links to different services that they already exist in the landscape of EPOS seismology. And these services from here, of course, they're going to be integrated with the overall big picture of EPOS services. Now, probably one of the most advanced service in Europe is the European Database of Seismogenic Faults. The host institution is INGV Rome. We're coordinated, you know it very well, by Roberto Basili. And again, this is fully functional, and it has quite a long history being active, at least in the last 10 years in the form we see it right now. Then the ground motion, the European ground shaking intensity service, or ground shaking web platform. This is built by GFZ. It's built on the OpenQuake libraries, and it aims at providing access to various tools to visualize ground motion at different points in space, for traceability, for statistical assessment of what records or ground shaking versus records, such as provide and run sensitivity analysis or residual analysis with the ground motion. This is under development and is going to be released early next year. The other service is the European Geotechnical Database. This is hosted and developed at Aristotle University in Thessaloniki. This has a certain degree of development. A decision has to be taken here what goes into this data set. Mostly the data set here, you see it here, there are two levels of parameters, and they are different site parameters, mostly in Greece. So this is still under development, and the direction of this service, it is still to be decided in terms of data sets. The last service that we have is the European Seismic Risk Services, the platform where the risk components are going to be visualized, distributed, and together with the risk results. The host institution and the main developers are located at IDU Center, and Ellen Crowley is coordinating this effort. So these are the services briefly, and what you see here in this flow chart, you see in the upper part the services, the data, the way today these services exist in EPOS landscape, and on the middle here, it's what EFHER will coordinate in the future. These working groups, or they aim at having a long-term support for the development of the components or the models themselves. They are not today active. They will never be active all at the same time, unless we will have a big project to put together these working groups to, for instance, work in a certain direction, such as entirely update at the same time the European hazard or the risk model. These working groups, they will be ideally financed, and the funding opportunities, of course, are not yet there. But with these working groups, we aim at, of course, research development, but also to establish within each one of these working groups or specific topics, also teaching and training eventually. Okay, so what is in today? If we look at this big picture here, rather busy. What we are looking at all data sets that today exist in EPOS infrastructure. So we begin, as always, with all data sets on the earthquake, on data sets on the faults, on the earthquake catalogs, on the ground motion, specific regionalizations, and this happened due to the existence of the EPOS services, right? And from here, we start building at every level the components for hazard and for the risk. So I will not repeat here. This is the principles, and this is the framework for updating the European hazard model and the risk model. And this is where the working groups are going to contribute at every layer that you see here. So what are we planning next? What are the activities? So, well, we want to release the 2020 European Hazard and Risk Model. We are updating what we'll call the beta pre-release model. We released beta community preview model in August. And since we have collected all the feedback, or a lot of feedback from various experts, various countries, and we are going to release to have an update in mid-January, where we are going to organize a webinar. We also have another workshop that is going to be on the use and misuse logic trees in PSHA in January 8th, next year, of course. And if you want to participate to these webinars, please sign what Valerio was mentioning. There are some links on the chat, but I will also give the opportunity to see the links in the next slides. Then we will in spring. Then we're going to look into greater detail at these models to see how these models are comparing, what is the outcome and the feedback again from the community. Then probably in the end of the year or maybe early next year, we are going to have a series of webinars on the lessons learned for these new models, and hopefully we meet in person in meetings rather than webinars. But we also like to have and support the members to contribute and to see how we can interact and engage into these activities that they are listed here. So I mentioned the EFHER newsletter. We are delivering. We have first of all a LinkedIn group where we usually post with some of the news that we have related to the consortium or with the models. We distribute 4 times per year a newsletter. We are preparing a new one, and with the newsletter, at this time we are trying to keep update on the hazard and risk models. We also want your help now, or your support in understanding better what are the needs of on the one side of the hazard platform. We want to understand the usability, what you like, what you don't like. So please, it takes 5 minutes to take a survey based on the use of these platforms. On the right hand side, we also try to understand what are the needs from the risk perspective of the main components or of the type of results that are needed from the community point of view. And again, there is a link and a task to take this survey. With that, I would say thank you very much. If you want to keep in contact or you want to join the EFHER Consortium and you have any interest to attend the webinars, either write to me or please subscribe to this newsletter on our webpage. And with that, I hope I am in time for a few questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laurenzio. Thank you for your presentation. It was very clear. I think it was extremely useful to just set up the idea of EFHER. That I'm not sure that how many people already knows about it. There is a lot of room for questions. I would say it's exactly the same procedure, the same, let's say, strategy as yesterday. So if everyone would like to ask something, just drop your name on the chat, and then you can actually contribute. Don't be shy. I know that you have a lot of questions. No question? It's a bit surprising.
Hello, I'm Stefano. Okay, I will make some questions for Laurenzio, otherwise you will get bored. No, Laurenzio was checking just the EFHER webpage and looking at the consortium. For me, it's not really clear from the webpage how the consortium is regulated. So it seems a sort of agreement between different institutes that are mentioned as let's say founder institute and so on, and then there is just a link on how to join the consortium. Maybe you can add something on this point if someone is interested in having this information. What is the chance what role can be taken in joining the consortium and so on. Maybe this information could be useful for the community.
Yes, thank you, Stefano. Yes, so from the perspective of how the consortium operates and how the consortium regulates the relationship between the members, so on, we do have the consortium agreement. In the consortium agreement, it is stated very clear the role of all of the members, the relationship of the consortium with different members and different parties or entities outside the consortium. That's what it. Then we do have the very clear, at least guidance on what are the principles for the guidance and the principle, or how do we operate in terms of data distribution, data policy, modeling, and ownership, right? And when you say for joining the consortium, technically, you need to revise, you need to go through this consortium agreement. You may have comments, you may have feedback to that, and overall, once there is a consensus on the understandings of how the consortium operates, then the signing the consortium agreement enables a party to to become member. Now, I'm not sure if I answer entirely your question on that, if this is what you meant, or there is something else that you need to know more.
Yeah, because in the page of the governance, I'm just checking, if I go to the web page of EFHER and then EFHER governance, there is just a list of participants in the General Assembly, in the EFHER consortium governance, and just mention the possibility of observer. Then at the point join EFHER, it's something like want to learn more, contact us. So that's why I was asking you just to add a few information, because maybe it was a good chance to have you here and just to explain it directly to a large number of people.
Okay. So as I said, the consortium is open. The consortium is looking for partners or members that are willing to contribute to what the mission of EFHER is, which you listed down there, right? The key objectives, and that's basically the foundation of this. So if anyone or institution wants to contribute to that, or wants to take part of the next generation of research and development at the European level, or specific components from hazard to risk, right? Because there are many components there. Then once the opportunities will arrive, in a sense that we will probably seek funds for maintaining or for developing future components of the models or the model itself. And that means that when we will establish this framework for updating one component, I will take the earthquake catalog right now. So if we discuss about the earthquake catalog, and we identify in this model, or we note in the last 10, 15, or 20 years the issues that we had with the earthquake catalogs, and we list as a consortium, because we are in many ways, we are establishing the framework at the European level for these models, and we list, for instance, 5 priorities for the next 7 years or 5 years. We are going to look into our consortium or in the community. We don't exclude, it's not exclusivist. Even we are working with the members of the consortium with priority, but if we don't have the right competence there, of course, we're looking outside, and we're going to establish either ad hoc groups or working groups for tackling these top priorities from the research perspective that will enable us to arrive in 7 years' time at a component that is ready to be plugged in and update the models, right? And this is one of the examples. Other example is today we have, in the end of the hazard products, we have engineering products. And this majority of the hazard experts, they will not contribute to the development of this engineering product. So there is an ad hoc group that works with the engineering community or with the working group in the EC8, for instance, to understand what exactly their needs are and how can be these products translated to their products. And we provide the full support to create their products and explain or go back, it's a feedback loop, go back and provide them what is needed in the right form, let's say.
Okay, thank you, Lorenzo.
I saw that there was also a comment made by Andre Herrero. He wrote on the chat, it's done. I think it was about the overlapping between the national models and the models uploaded on.
No, it's just technical comment that the fact that INGV officially has joined the consortium, that means that the agreement has been approved by the main board. So it's just now we have to communicate and give the paper back to Laurentiu, and it is done. So it was just a technical comment.
Thank you, Andrea. I will have another comment here, is that there is also the section of
Lorenzo, we don't see you anymore.
Yeah. Can you? I don't know what happened. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Don't need to. So there is also in the consortium we have the observers, and the observers, they have their role. We are collaborating, and they can be part of the General Assembly. They can participate to the meetings, but of course they will not vote. So members have this right to vote on and agree on the activities or the yearly activities of the consortium. The members have the right to vote the establishment of the working groups. The members have, so it's pretty democratic, I would say. I don't follow too much Orpheus or EMSC to see how they function. I know briefly, but we try to have a much clearer governance and simpler in many ways. So the ExeCom does the everyday business of the consortium. So we're tackling all the small issues from consortium agreement feedback, because every institution discuss or has as a point to clarify in the consortium agreement, and that happens through the ExeComs, and we keep also in the ExeCom all other activities such as coordination of these webinars or the newsletters or the information. It's also coordinated there. And the observers, as I said, they are, for instance, we have GEM there. There is the ESC that is observer in the consortium, and the liaison is PAIVI. And yeah, we do have the European Association for Earthquake Engineering as observers, GEM, Global Earthquake Foundation. Then there is the EMSC, of course, and the Orpheus. But they, as I said, they will not vote, but they can participate to all our activities if needed. So in summary, EFHER is open to everyone, and there is no constraints of in participation.
Thank you. Is there any other question or curiosity from the audience? I saw that Ellen actually copy-pasted the link for the EFHER risk interface survey. Well, that's, the workshop is mostly focused on the hazard, but if anyone is interested in the risk part, can also take part to this. Is there any other question? Otherwise, I think we can close here. We thank you again, Laurenzio, for the time spent and for the presentation. I kindly ask you if you can send me the PDF, perhaps, if I have the permission to upload it on our web platform, if it's not a problem for you.
Yes, I did send you in the morning the link to, it was a PDF there. Yes, you can upload it.
Okay, so thank you again. For the audience, we will come back actually to the next session. It's about seismicity analysis led by Werner Marzocchi at 10:30 sharp. Thanks everyone and see you later.
Grazie, Valerio,
Roberto,
and I wish you a very, very successful workshop.
Grazie Laurenzio.
Grazie mille, ciao.